The time has come. Hello, Fluffers, and welcome back to Fluff It, a podcast for furries by furries. My name is Felix, and I am a wolf from the United States.
And my name is Uno, and I'm a raccoon from the United Kingdom.
And welcome to Fluff It, and our very special Halloween episode. Woo!
Hey!
So today for our episode, we are going to dive right in. We are going to be classifying personas for paranormal characters or this Halloween characters in general. So how we are planning on doing it is we are giving ourselves 25 minutes to go down a list that we both made and we're just gonna give characters a persona. And our two rules is that they cannot be the same species, and we cannot really go over 3 minutes for each character. So with that, I am super excited.
Me too. I think this is gonna be a really fun episode, and hopefully equally as fun to listen to as it is to record.
Yes, I am super excited. I mean, this is a fun one. And so let us know if you agree or disagree with our selections.
So, our first Halloween or horror character of choice is Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster, I should probably say.
Creature Frankenstein.
Yeah. So I haven't really thought about this one very much. So, do you have any ideas for what?
I had two ideas. So, for those who are not aware of Frankenstein or read the book, basically, a component of a bunch of dead people together creates this ginormous creature and wreaks havoc and is arguably the most iconic Halloween character. So, I had two ideas. I had either vulture or possum. I thought the vulture because vultures are kind of scavengers. They kind of like eat like off body parts of different animals. And then possums because possums like to play dead and they kind of look dead, but they're not.
Yeah, I definitely, now that you've said that, I think possums are like a perfect choice because of the like playing dead and yeah, I just think that would be a really good choice. I suppose any kind of animal that's like I don't know, something like maybe a rat could also work. I mean, I still think a possum is the best choice, but like some kind of slightly spooky, like sort of weird animal, I think would work.
Yeah,
Really
I
well.
think possum would be the
Yeah,
best pick for Frankenstein because I mean possums hiss. I mean those things. I mean they are cute, but they are mean. And I mean Frankenstein by no means is cute, but I mean he can kind of hiss, kind of like a possum. I mean there's definitely times in the book where he kind of like toys and like plays around with Victor.
yeah.
So I think possum would be the best choice.
Yeah, I think we're settled on the possum being the best choice for
All right.
Frankenstein. Kind of want to draw that now.
Possum Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So the next one on our list is Jack Skellington. And now I'm going to confess, I have not seen the entire Nightmare Before Christmas movie. So
Scandal.
I'm sorry. Hold off on the tomatoes. So
You still have time before Halloween.
yes. So I guess I'll let you lead on this one.
So for Jack Skellington, admittedly, I had thought of kind of an obvious one, but there's a little bit of a twist to it. So my initial thought was like a black and white cat, which is really, really obvious, I know, but that was my first thought. But then I thought he'd probably be like a Sphinx cat, just because I think like the kind of art style of Jack Skellington, the really spindly kind of sort of skinny look, I think kind of fits with a Sphinx cat. So he'd probably be a black and white or sort of grey and peachy color. They tend to be Sphinx cat, at least I think.
Are they
And I
hairless?
also think like because of him as a character, he's kind of really kind of friendly, but also like likes to be sort of independent and likes to be alone sometimes. So I think that suits for Jack Skellington.
Now, are Sphinx cats like hairless cats, or do they
Yeah,
do have fur?
yeah, hairless.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. I think that is a good pick for Jack Skellington because I do know cats can be very like playful, but at the same time, cats can be like, no,
Yeah.
leave me alone. So I agree with that one. So I guess we are both locking down on Sphinx Cat.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. We are making a lot of good time with these. We're not going over yet.
Good.
So the next one on our list is Jason. So Jason is our favorite hockey mask killer with a chainsaw, one of the most iconic horror movie characters. I don't really know about this one, to be perfectly honest.
Well, for this one, I an idea that I had would be like a grizzly bear, which I
Hmm.
came up with just because he's kind of big and strong, and also because he sort of stalks around the forest and hunts for victims in like a spooky forest. So my initial thought was just a grizzly bear.
Bear's a good
Um,
shout. I think I would almost make him a polar bear over a
yeah,
grizzly bear, and that's because he has that hockey mask, and I always would think polar bears over grizzly bears with hockey.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've never seen Friday the 13th, but I've heard a bunch of it from my mom who lived near the lake where the movie was shot, and every
Oh, I never knew
Friday the
that.
13th she would like be around that area with her friends and they would always get scared. I would be. So I think polar bear might be a good idea, maybe. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I agree with that. I think that's a good choice.
All right, so we're locking down on polar bear.
Yep.
All right, awesome.
Okay, so the next choice is a character who I think is from kind of an old urban legend or sort of scary ghost story. And this character is Bloody Mary. So I haven't actually got any ideas for this one.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. Bloody Mary, we go back. For anyone who knows me, I was petrified of Bloody Mary when I was like a little wolf. I mean, once I heard the ghost story where she like wrote weird messages on the fridge and killed you, that terrified me. So I think I have a perfect choice for Bloody Mary or a perfect case. So I think obviously she people would be like, maybe a vampire bat. She really likes blood, but she's a pest. In my opinion, she kind of like buzzes around occasionally, and I don't like that. So instead of a bat, I want Bloody Mary to be our first insect, where I want her to be a mosquito.
that works. That's actually a really good choice because of like the blood as well.
Yes, the blood sucking, the pest, and like ghost story. Because I think I'm not the only person. I mean, please do let us know if any of these scared you as a child or even as an adult still. But I remember a whole bunch of us in Boy Scouts and whatnot were scared to death of Bloody Mary. So, needless to say, don't want her. I mean, it's like a mosquito. They come around, you're like,
Yes.
no, go away, shoo. And they like blood. So I guess we're mosquito then?
Yeah, I
All right,
definitely agree with that. I
mosquito.
think that's a
All right.
great choice.
So moving forward is Ghostface. This is one on your list, or
Yeah.
this was one from your list. So what do you think?
So my initial thought, I mean, it's now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of a weird one because for those of you who've seen Scream, it's the ghost face is actually different people every time. But I think as an idea, like the ghost face character, I kind of thought of some type of a bird, so maybe either a crow or like a magpie, maybe. Um, Probably a crow, but I was kind of thinking magpie just because of the black and white color scheme. But the reason I think that is because with crows, I mean, we get a lot of crows around our house, and like they kind of appear and then disappear. And one minute you'll see them in one place, and the next minute you see them up in the tree or on the roof or something. Similar to how Ghostface is kind of one minute he's at somebody's house, and the next minute it's somewhere else entirely. So that was just my sort of initial thoughts for that. Yeah, I suppose they have kind of a creepy vibe to them as well.
I think crows would be a good choice. I think raven could be another good choice too because
Yes.
ravens like I mean, I'm thinking of the raven from that short story and like the raven's like nevermore and I mean they
Yeah.
toy. I mean the raven toys with the person in that story and I mean, I've not seen this Halloween movie too, so I feel like I'm gonna have the angry mob coming down through my door at this point. Um, but I mean, the Ghostface kind of toys with his victims
Yeah,
or their victims. I don't know if there's been a female Ghostface.
there has, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, whichever Ghostface it is, they like tend to like toy, troll, and like have fun with their
Yeah,
victims. So I think that's where I think Raven may be a
yeah,
better choice than Crow.
definitely.
So we are good with Raven.
Yeah,
All right. So the next one is less so of a scary character, although some people might argue he is. Although he is probably one of the most iconic horror characters of all time, is Shaggy Rogers from Scooby-Doo. I mean, he's a coward, to put it lightly, who really likes a lot of food. This one was a little difficult because I was thinking maybe he's a scaredy cat, which would be kind of ironic since he would be owning Scooby Doo. But since we've already gone Jack Skellington as a cat, I did some research last night, and I think I want to give him the persona of a giraffe.
yeah.
Giraffes eat over 60 pounds of food each day. They have extremely long necks, kind of like Shaggy, and they occasionally try and hide, and they're very obvious.
Yeah, I think that's a great choice. I mean, this one I really didn't have any ideas for, but now that you mention it, like I would never have thought of a giraffe, but that works really well. Like I think that's a great choice.
We have some very interesting choices. I mean, we have mosquito, we have giraffe, polar bear. What's the next one?
So the next one on the list, I believe, is the mummy. So basically just the character, the idea of the Egyptian mummy, but also like from the old horror movies. So this is another one I really don't have many choices for. Or I mean, the only thought that I kind of had was an Egyptian pharaoh hound, but I do feel like that's a little bit obvious. So I don't know, maybe we can come up with something better.
Well, we already went over possum. I think possum would be kind of funny
Yeah.
too. Because it's like rising from the dead, it's alive. So, what other animals are often associated with playing dead or like, oh, it looks dead. Oh no, it's alive. And I think I do have an idea. This came up into my head. I might be psycho for this. Raccoon.
Yeah, that would work.
Raccoons, I feel like it's kind of like the perspective of a going into like a pyramid. Which you shouldn't. No trespassing, no looting. But it's kind of like, oh, there's all this old stuff. Oh no, there's a mummy. And I mean, there's always times where I go around campus and near the trash and I literally see raccoons
Yeah.
snacking. So I don't know. This is maybe a far-fetched one, but I'm gonna say raccoon for me.
Yeah, I think that works. I mean, I honestly I can't think of anything better than that. So I'm more than happy to go with that.
All right. For the listeners, let us know if you think raccoon is a good choice or we're this completely wrong and clueless. Let us know of a better alternative. So the next one on our list is the Grim Reaper. So skeleton cloaked with a big scythe. I'm so if I got that wrong, it's
I think that's right.
all
That's
right.
how I would have pronounced it anyway,
Hopefully,
unless we're both wrong.
um, still a little out of it with allergies. So I think for Grim Reaper, this is the other one I was considering, Vulture, because Vulture's
Yeah.
it's kind of like oh death, and the Grim Reaper is death.
Yeah, I think a vulture's a perfect choice. Definitely.
Thank you.
And also that kind of works because this is a little bit of a weird note, but the beak of a vulture kind of looks like the scythe.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
that
a good
works.
point. That is a good point. So I think we that's an easy one.
Yeah,
We are
I,
shooting through these.
yeah.
Wow. So the next one is Michael Myers, and I am going. The Angry Mob is definitely coming for my head tonight. This is a movie I've also not seen. I was a I blame Bloody Mary. She made me scared of every other scary thing up until I had to live in a haunted hotel for a year at college and read The Haunting of Hill House, which was a really good book. But I digress. Michael Myers, what do you think?
I really haven't thought about this one, so I'm
Uh
gonna have to
oh.
think about it now.
Okay.
That's a tricky one, actually.
So Michael Myers, I'm guessing is, I mean, he's a serial killer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so serial killers.
So he's basically this very like he's very quiet. He doesn't say a word. Nobody really knows who he is. He kind of wears a mask the whole time. You don't see him until he's right there, basically. So
Maybe a jaguar, because
yeah,
jaguars
that
kind
would
of like,
work.
or a tiger, they like sneak up, they don't make a
Yeah,
lot of noise.
I think maybe a tiger. I mean, like maybe a white tiger would work really well because like he wears the white mask and
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, that would
that
be
would
a good
work.
idea. Yeah, I actually think that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that works.
All right, awesome. So the next one is the Invisible Man.
Yeah, this is another tricky one. So the Invisible Man, again, is sort of an old horror story, but there is the old Hammer monster movie. I think it's a Hammer movie or Universal. I'm not too sure. That's based around him. So that's kind of the one that I had in mind when adding this to the list. But I'm really not sure what to choose for this one.
I think for me, I was like thinking Invisible Man, what could work? Then I hit it, Chameleon. Chameleons
Yeah,
blend
that's
in, they
perfect.
kind of sneak around. I mean, they don't sneak around. This one would, but they blend in and you don't immediately see them. And then they get you.
Yeah.
So I think Chameleon would be perfect for the Invisible Man.
Yeah, that is spot on. Definitely.
Awesome. So, hopefully this is the last one that I've not really known, but Freddy Krueger. I have a lot of horror movies to catch up on. Yikes.
Yeah, so this one, I was thinking I had one idea. I was thinking of rats just because I mean, like I really like rats, but a lot of people think they're quite creepy and weird. So with Freddy Krueger, he's this kind of evil serial killer type character who's not really human, so he kind of gets into your dreams and like into places where he's not supposed to be or where you're not expecting to be. Which is why I was thinking of rat as well, because they kind of come into your house and like you don't know how they've got in. Like they can get in through tiny spaces, or um, you can find them sort of in the attic or in all sorts of different places where you don't expect, which is also the case with Freddy Krueger. And also, I think it's the first Nightmare on Elm Street, or I don't know actually if it's the first one or the third one, or maybe both. But there's a scene where he's kind of out in an alley, that's quite an iconic scene. And again, that's somewhere where rats would usually be found. So that was just my thinking behind that.
I mean, I would with that I am convinced that he is a rat. I mean, there's not really that much more to add about Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger. So the next one, this one might be a little controversial, is Linus from the Great or from the Peanuts Halloween special. So for anyone who is not seen the Peanuts Halloween special, which would surprise me, this kid is obsessed with the Great Pumpkin. Um, as a child, I always would never understand Linus. It's like the Great Pumpkin isn't Santa. Go get candy. What you doing, Linus? You don't live forever. I mean, Halloween's. I mean, there's only so many Halloweens. No.
Yeah, you
I
used to
mean, you're
annoy me as a
frustrating me.
kid.
And I think because of that, I'm going to classify him as a golden retriever. I think
Yeah.
Linus is extremely loyal to the idea of the Great Pumpkin. And I apologize with anyone with golden retrievers, but I just always think golden retrievers are like the sweetest, most innocent things, but they can be a little clueless too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great choice. That definitely suits him very well.
So the next one on our list is The Gremlins, and this has been a horror movie that I have seen. I saw this one last Halloween, and I was not. I mean, I was not disappointed. I will confess that I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and I thought it was going to be a wholesome movie. And by the end, halfway through it, with the mom slamming the gremlin in the microwave and gory stuff happen, it's like whoa. Although I would say she is the serious thing in that movie.
Yeah.
But we are not giving her a fursona, although we should, maybe have considered it. The Gremlins. Now, the Gremlins are anthropomorphic already, but they are not a specific animal, so I thought we could get away with this one. And I think for me, I think Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah, definitely. That works really well.
I mean,
When you mentioned putting gremlins on the list, like obviously I wanted them to be on the list, but I was thinking like I was totally clueless as to what animal I would consider them to be, but I definitely think Tasmanian devil works
I
well.
mean, Tasmanian Devils, either the actual Tasmanian Devils or Taz from Looney Tunes. I mean, these things are dramatic. They are chaotic evil. I mean, they will like make all these hissy noises. Like they're like the possums, but they're meaner and more evil. They're also much more chaotic than the possums. They actually make the possums look good now.
Yeah.
But I think the Tasmanian Devil would be a perfect choice for the Gremlins. This due to both of their chaotic
Yeah.
spirit.
Yeah, I think that's a great choice. I like that.
Our second to last one, we did not expect to get through these so fast.
Yeah.
Is the Wicked Witch. So I was thinking of Oz, although that's not a Halloween movie, but we could just talk about witches in general
Yeah.
with this one.
So my first idea was I also, when you mentioned the Wicked Witch, like the one that popped into my head was the Oz one, because that's kind of the iconic, like the pointy hat and the green face and like the iconic witch look. So what I was kind of thinking was maybe something like a lizard. Um,
Interesting.
I don't really know what type of lizard, maybe like an iguana or something.
That's
Um,
that's very interesting.
to be honest, there's not a lot. I haven't got a lot of like logic behind that choice. It was just kind of
I
what
had
popped
a
into my
I had a
head.
very odd one for the Wicked Witch, and I had it be a snail.
Yeah.
So the reason why I chose the idea of a snail is so spoiler the oldest spoiler alert, this movie was 1930, I think. So but when they pour the water on the Wicked Witch, she melts and she's like, I'm melting as she disintegrates. And for anyone who knows, if you put salt on snails, they disintegrate and they're like, I'm
Yeah.
melting very slowly. Don't do that to snails. Be nice.
Yeah.
We're not advocating for snail killing. So, but I was thinking maybe snail because of that.
Yeah,
But
I think a
I think
snail is a
snail
good
would be
choice.
so weird to draw anthropomorphs.
I
I
mean, I
mean,
would try it.
we could try. I think it will be. I'm scared now. Like, just imagine like drawing a scene from like The Wizard of Oz, and you have like Dorothy, like maybe like a fox, wolf, cat, something a little bit more common in the furry fandom, and then you have
Yeah.
like the wicked, sinister laugh of like a snail, and like they slowly like point their like slimy tentacle type
Yeah.
finger. I don't know. I'm now disturbed. It's like I'll get you, my pretty, in your. I mean, I would be terrified. So, snail.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
And our last one is David S. Pumpkin. So for anyone who is not aware, David S. Pumpkins is from a Saturday Night Live skit. And I absolutely love that skit.
Yeah, me too.
This one, I don't know.
Yeah, neither do I. I was just trying to think of something, and I'm not really sure. I mean, I suppose it's quite difficult because this character only exists in a very short sketch, so
Yes.
it's kind of hard to really get a good idea of what he's actually like.
Well, he's quite
Um,
cheery, so
yeah,
I did think about this last night. I was like, what could he be? And I was thinking that could actually might work. Hyena.
yeah, that would
So
work. Yeah,
hyenas are kind of like they giggle, they laugh. I mean, they're creepy. I mean, they can be cute, but they can be also creepy. I mean, they have some of the creepiest grins. And I mean, David S. Pumpkins, again, not cute. I'm not advocating that. I mean, I'm sure someone has drawn him in a cute chibi style. I mean, sure. And I mean, he might look cute as a hyena,
yeah,
depending on style. But I was thinking that could work because he has like this uncomfortable grin. He's like
yeah,
giggly, he's laughy. So that's where I think that could work.
yeah. I think that works. I like that choice.
So I think that is all of them.
Yeah, we
Whoa,
got through those pretty quick.
we got through those. Wow, we got through those very fast. Good grief! Wow. So what was the biggest surprise on your in your opinion with any of these?
Um, I think the biggest surprise probably the choice of a snail for the Wicked Witch. Obviously, like the way we kind of explained it, the way you explained it, it makes a lot of sense. And now that we've settled on that, I've kind of got this image of it in my head. But that wasn't one that I was expecting at all. To be honest, a lot of these I didn't really have much of an idea, but now that we've gone over them, like they just make so much sense. I just want to draw all of these now as well.
Oh my gosh, I mean I am very terrified but curious of how some of these will be. I mean a mosquito, a snail, undead possum. I mean, oh my goodness, there are just tons of choices. I mean, I might be drawing some of these too.
Yeah, I think that these would be really fun to like try and actually design.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And I mean, if you, the listeners, it's like, I really want to draw a possum. I really want to draw the mosquito. I mean, like, go ahead and try it. I mean, we would be more than happy to take a look and maybe even promote it on Fluff It.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so if anybody does want to draw these or kind of do their own take on them, feel free to send them over or just tag us in them, and we will share them.
And if you
I'd be
think,
more than happy to share stuff on my main page as well and on Fluffit's page.
yeah,
So
same
yeah,
here.
please do that.
Yeah, and if you absolutely disagree with any of these points, I mean, do let us know what you think would be a better choice.
Yeah, let us know if you have any ideas. I think that would be really interesting to hear if anyone does. Or let us know which choice you thought was the most appropriate. Or if there's any that you don't quite agree with, feel free to let us know. That would be really interesting to find out.
Yes, but that is the episode. So, our lovely Halloween episode. That was a lot of fun.
It was. I really enjoyed that one. I think that was, in comparison to the kind of topics we've done so far, this was a little bit of a different episode,
Yes.
a little bit more like a fun little game sort of thing, which I think
Mhm.
is really appropriate for this time of year. It's a very fun time of year. So yeah, I hope everyone had as much fun listening to that as we did assigning fursonas to classic Halloween characters.
Yes. And if you, I mean, we could always do this for a Christmas episode
Yeah,
later
that would
down the
actually be really
line.
fun.
So do let us know if you would like to see that. And then if you want to maybe make it a little bit more tougher for us, give us suggestions on like limitations, like it can only be insects or something like that. I would be terrified if that was what we decided on. Uh the Santa or the little elves ants could like be with Bloody Mary mosquito and Wicked
Yeah.
Witch snail. That's terrifying. Now I can't picture that out in my head. Oh dear. But that is the episode for Fluff It. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us.
Yeah, we hope you all enjoyed this episode. This was a really fun one. So yeah, hope everyone had fun listening to it, and we'll see you all in the next episode, which will
Yes.
hopefully be very soon.
Yes, but until the next episode, stay fluffy and have a fluff-tastic day.
See you all soon. Have a great Halloween too.
Yes, happy Halloween!
We'll see you all soon. Goodbye.